Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim for the Real Sports Talk along with KJ. You can hit us up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST, and you can also like the Real Sports Talk on Facebook, the Real Sports Talk. That might be a shocker to some of you, but I'm just making that clear. Number 2 Oklahoma City versus number 7 Dallas is the third team that we are previewing overall. And if you go to our channel, you can go to a playlist called NBA Playoffs. It features videos from the entire NBA playoffs from last season, and what you can get in there is videos from that, and then also every single preview we do throughout and coverage of any games that go on throughout this entire NBA playoffs, which we will be on top of every single game and every single series. That will go in that playlist. That will be your one-stop shop for every single NBA news and note throughout this entire NBA playoffs. So bookmark that, share it on Twitter, Facebook, everything, because once you go there, there's nowhere else that you need to go for NBA coverage, because no one else is going to give you the type of coverage we will. Oklahoma City, the team that is a prohibited favorite in the Western Conference. It's only the number 2 seed, but has 2 of the top 5 MVP finishers. I'm projecting this out because this is how it will be. And Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And Kevin Durant has a chance to be the MVP. The Dallas Mavericks had a weird season, to say the least. They started out slow. Lamar Odom absolutely did not work out for this team this year, and for a team that is coming off winning an NBA Finals, it kind of just seems like last year was their season, and that with this current roster, the way that it's currently constructed, they're probably not going to be able to get over the top again. There's chances that they could get Darren Williams and everything in the offseason. And Brennan Haywood's done a nice job, but defensively, he is just not in the same league as what Tyson Chandler did for that team. And having those 2 guys on that team last year was huge. Jason Terry's going to come out and be a very clutch shooter. I don't have any problems with that. And I do not anticipate that Dirk Nowitzki is going to go back to struggling in the playoffs like he had a couple times earlier in his career. But overall, I think if you look at the Oklahoma City team, what they bring, Kendrick Perkins defensively is a beast still. Offensively, he's never been a great scorer, but what he does bring offensively is the ability to set screens, and with his huge body, if he sets a screen on you, you're not getting around it in time to make any play except maybe a really dirty foul. And in that case, if you make a dirty foul against Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook, you're going to be getting docked some paycheck by the wonderful Commissioner David Stern, and that is not something you want to do. That is a huge thing that people are sleeping on. And then you have Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and a very deep roster for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is a team that I picked coming into this season to win the NBA Finals. The only concern that I have is looking back at last weekend's game against the Lakers, where we saw Kevin Durant shoot absolutely pitifully, and we saw Russell Westbrook shoot absolutely atrocious. The problem with these 2 guys is, yeah, it's nice to have 2 really good superstars on your team, but if they do not work out, then there's not really another go-to guy for scoring. Russell Westbrook is a very good overall player, had one of the top 5 seasons in the NBA, in my opinion, this season, but when he goes cold, he goes really cold. Kevin Durant does not go cold often, but when he goes cold, he also goes really cold. And to me, it would take an entire series of that happening, or at least 2 or 3 games, for the Mavericks to really have a very good chance at winning this series.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't think the Mavericks are going to do anything special with this series. They're not going to win this series. I believe I said I had them in 5, I believe I told you earlier. I meant to say the Thunder in 5. Like you said, Kevin Durant, he's 2 MVP candidates on the team. That's amazing. But like you said, if they go cold, then things can happen. But I don't see that happening. That's a very rare scenario. People who watched that Lakers game a little while ago, ended the season on a bad note. But that's why you have time in between, a little intermission till the playoffs start. So they'll be okay. They'll be fine. They're superstars, and I'm sure they probably they're not really affected by that kind of stuff anymore. But I mean, having James Harden as your 6th man on a team that averages kind of points it does, and bringing that firepower off the bench, I just think that this team is going to absolutely throttle the Mavericks, who are more of a half-court team. Like you said, Jason Terry, he's going to get his. He's going to get his. He's going to get a 3-ball shooter. He's going to do what he does. But you got to remember, the team that lost, the big man in Tyson Chandler, and somebody a lot of people didn't really know until last year in the playoffs, JJ Barea. He's not with them anymore either. So people need to realize that he's not there to do what he did last year. He did a lot in the playoffs. I don't know how many of you NBA fans watched the Mavs series last year. He did a lot in the playoffs. I mean, against the Lakers, against everybody that they played, he was phenomenal. He looked like another Jason Kidd who was younger out there. It was ridiculous. But like I said, it's nothing special. It's like the Pacers series. I feel like the Mavericks are going to come in and just get beat. It's simple as that. They're going to take this maybe 5 games. I wouldn't even be surprised if there was a sweep involved here. Dirk had an amazing season last year, but what he did last year comes in once in a lifetime. He's not Michael Jordan out there. He's not going to be able to pull it off. So I have the Thunder in 5. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, Dirk is a great player, probably one of the top 50 players of all time. But the bottom line is he's not going to be able to repeat what he did last year. You mentioned J.J. Barea and the type of spark plug that he brought for that team last year, unless Andrew Bynum was taking him out. The one thing I do want to mention with the Thunder is also, you did mention James Harden. I said before there wasn't another go-to scorer. James Harden might be able to be a go-to scorer for 1 or 2 games to the point where he could have 25 or 30 points, but it's not going to be an entire series thing. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant need to work on things, and they need to make sure that what happened last season, there's not any issues with ball time, Russell Westbrook shooting too much. And Kevin Durant's been very good about that. He said, we are at our best when Russell is shooting a lot. And I agree with that because it takes a lot of pressure off Kevin Durant defensively, because people really do need to keep themselves honest when they're defending this team, because you have 2 guys that on any given night can drop 50 points. That being said, I think the one other thing that people are sleeping on with the Thunder is Derek Fisher. I have been on record as saying Derek Fisher for the first however many minutes of the game is pretty much a waste, that he's not a very good point guard, and that he's probably the most overrated player in the history of the NBA. But what he does bring with his ugly shot is the clutch shooting that has won the Lakers numerous NBA championships and gotten them to a lot more. He's had some big shots in his time with the Jazz and a few other teams, and it could certainly come down to a big shot from him in the series. I don't anticipate that it will, though. The Mavericks are a tired team. Dirk said even himself this offseason he had trouble finding motivation the way that he had in the past. And for me, that kind of signals that a guy got a little comfortable with what happened, and that this just is not the Mavericks season. I'm going to take the Thunder in 6 in this series, and KJ took the Thunder in 5. So far, we have previewed 3 overall NBA playoff series, and we will get to every single other one. Be sure that I'm Sammy's KJ. You can hit us up on Twitter at CashKelly_TRST. Like The Real Sports Talk on Facebook, and check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Mr. Kelstar. We will see you guys later.